A day late and a dollar short. That's what you should call the Federal Reserve. Yeah, economic news continues to pile in. We spent a while yesterday dissecting some of the information that's been coming out. Again, I'm also looking into retail sales. I'm looking into rentals. I'm looking at monetary supply. And yeah, the Fed doesn't get it. They didn't get it. They didn't get it when inflation was running hot. They didn't get it. They were telling you it was transitory. And right now they're blowing it. They really are. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm seeing some of these statements. Again, maybe, just maybe, they're jawboning a little bit to try to push policy without actually having to enact policy. A guy that enormous deal of respect for, and we've talked about him before here on the program. True genius, great businessman. Barry Sternlicht interviewed today, and it was pretty much an echo chamber of everything that we've been saying here on the program. This is a guy that started W Hotels, Westin. He's just a billionaire. The billionaire investor, really, really smart guy, and obviously somebody who has his finger is on the pulse based upon the myriad of businesses that he owns. The same way that guys like myself, from the people that we do business with all across the country, we can take a good look at what's going on. And we're a national firm here. A lot of places are just kind of local. We've got clients all over the country. So somebody say it's anecdotal information that I'm providing, not so much. And the same way that Barry Sternlicht has hotels, not just all over this country, but all over the world, and restaurants and hotels and property. And he's saying the same thing. Rents are starting to drop. Again, he sold part of his portfolio to Sam Zell, and he understands what's going on. You're taking a look at the money supply. And if the Fed continues down this path, they are going to wreck it. And I keep thinking of the end of Planet of the Apes. Yep, end of Planet of the Apes. Charlton Heston's on the beach, and he's banging on it. They blew it up. Damn you to hell. Yeah, you don't need to do this. There's nothing the Federal Reserve can do. And again, when people are echoing, people that are enormously accomplished, puts a smile on my face. It does. When they're echoing the sentiments and the things that we've been teaching here on the podcast, on the radio show, it does put me in put a smile, kind of pat myself on the back, but that makes me feel good. Saying the same thing. Everything that we're saying here, Barry Sternlicht sees too. Why would you do this? The Fed can't do a damn thing about energy prices unless they destroy it. When I mean destroy, you have to wreck the economy. I mean, you got to send it into a deep recession or depression, if you will, if you want to bring down energy prices via interest rates. You want to bring down food prices via interest rates. Barry made a really great point too today. I want to touch on. He said, I run businesses, I have hotels. I'm still having a difficult time staffing. But when the Fed raises rates, I don't just go, okay, now I have to fire X amount of people. This concept out there that the Fed has got to see the labor market soften. That's great. Listen, I talked about good firing and bad firing here on the program. I don't like seeing people lose their jobs due to a bad economy. I don't mind seeing people lose their jobs if they're crap workers or they're slackers. I don't care. I did that whole Ari Gold scene from Entourage where he's shooting people with the paintball gun. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Elon Musk had a great time firing off all the woke slackers over at Twitter, and it's happening all across the country. Has to happen. I don't want to see people getting laid off because the Fed is deciding they got to wreck the economy. Again, day late and a dollar short. And quite frankly, people, your portfolio, you better be geared towards high quality. You better be. I know we've seen some swings in the market and some of the riskier stuff has come back up to some degree. Quality companies that consistently pay you to own them, dividend-based companies, it's what's going to work. And again, there's a lot of great value that's out there. Anyway, the crypto drama continues. I have to read this. I don't know if many of you may be aware or not. We called the Enron collapse before it happened. Wrote a column about it. After I made that call, the stock went up, I think, about another 100% over the course of the next year. It was Fortune magazine's most innovative company, and then it just collapsed. And we saw the issues with it before everybody. Now, when the stock was going up after we saw the issues, everybody was making fun of us. But again, it's not important to be right in the here and now. It's important to be right eventually. And we're right eventually. Anyway, this is from John J. Ray. If you're not familiar with John J. Ray, he is one of the top bankruptcy attorneys in the country. And he said, I got to read this. FTX suffered a complete failure of corporate controls. Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here. From compromised systems integrity and faulty regulatory oversight abroad, to the concentration of control in the hands of a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, and potentially compromised individuals. This situation is unprecedented. This guy is the leading bankruptcy attorney in the country. He was the one that handled the Enron bankruptcy. I wish you listened. I wish you listened. And getting phone calls, emails from people that didn't. You think John Ray is going to be able to make you whole? You'll be lucky to see 10 cents on the dollar. Lucky to see 10 cents on the dollar. You're seeing some of the tweets putting out by this Bankman-Fried fella. Blank the regulator. I mean, it's just, they'll be like, how could they not see it? How could the regulators not see it? Regulators don't see anything. And this is something I try to get across to people all the time. People, where's the SEC? How come they didn't handle it? The SEC had all the information on Madoff, and they didn't recognize it. They didn't do anything about it. You don't think that the SEC was, could have figured out what was going on at all these penny stock firms like Stratton Oakmont? It's not what they do. They're not cops. Okay? They're not cops. They come in after the fact and they find somebody. After the horses, the cows, and the chickens are out of the barn, they come in. Have you known for the SEC or FINRA come out and say, we put an end, we stopped this fraud, we stopped this scam? No, what happens is the scam, the Ponzi scheme implodes and FBI comes in and they handle the situation. And then the SEC and FINRA, they act like CSI, pretty much. You're going to hear a lot of calls for regulation, and both Democrats and Republicans. Okay. Oh, this case guy was a big donor to the libs, but make no bones about it. There's plenty of Republicans that are invested in or have relatives tied to this industry, this scam, and they don't want it to go away. They want to make it legitimate or try to legitimize the entire thing. I'm telling you right now. When I see people starting to call, people in positions of power calling, cryptocurrency a commodity, it makes me sick to my stomach. You know what the hell you're talking about? It's not a commodity. Maybe the technology behind crypto, blockchain, Maybe that technology obviously has some use, but fake money? No, it makes me sick. And there was an interesting article talking about the fact that the Fed keeping interest rates low for so long helped push this. Of course it did. For free money, cheap money, people staying at home, let's trade cryptos. Then we went to NFTs. Of course it did. It's got to find a place to go. There's a lot of it sloshing around. You're talking trillions of dollars. A lot of it's been sucked up. I mean, there's been 2 trillion plus washed out of cryptos, stock market this year. Down I don't know how many trillions of dollars as a whole. Housing market, trillions. Gone. None of this stuff would have happened if it wasn't for all of the money printing that took place. Just the Fed, the government as well. And again, everybody wants to get rich quick. You just get that thought out of your mind. And once you fully grasp the fact that that's just a lie, the better off you're going to be. All right. We got to do some, I'm going to go through some stories I found interesting. Some business stories I found interesting today. Starbucks workers striking at more than 100 stores. I guess it's their Red Cup Day. I'm not a big Starbucks guy. I've told you before, I'm not a big fan of their coffee. I do like the Nitro Cold Brew. I do like that in the summertime. But anyway, they got their Red Cup Day, and you got 100 workers striking at 100 restaurants. They want better conditions, whatever it may be. Okay. Hey, do what you want. Okay. These 100 stores, I don't know if they're unionized. You're not going to come to work. You're going to get fired. You're going to get fired. Hey, a tight labor market. If you don't like it, when LeBron James said, "I'm taking my talent to Miami." Remember when he left the Cavaliers way back when? Take your talent somewhere else. You don't like Starbucks? I don't go to Dunkin' Donuts. Go to Pete's Coffee. Take your talent elsewhere if you don't think that you're getting paid properly. What to tell you? Anyway. The UK unveiled its largest tax increases and spending cuts in a decade. What a bunch of BS. UK is taking a dive. I got a kick at it. They call it austerity. None of these spending cuts are going to take place until 2025. Until 2025. Correct me if I'm wrong, I know we're the tail end of 2022. So none of the spending cuts are going to take place until 2025, but they are raising taxes, which is going to be great as far as investment is concerned and businesses looking to grow the economy. They did an about face from Liz Truss and what she wanted to do. And I'm going to be honest with you. Did it work? The pound was down almost 1% today versus the dollar. Yeah. All right. This is a serious story. When I saw the word, when it came across, you had the missile being fired and killing 2 people in Poland. The stock market was up like 300 something points, 400 points at the time. It just fell off a cliff. Reacting to that news and what could happen next. Media blew it. AP basically said it was Russia. You had an emergency meeting at the G20. NATO is on high alert. And I was like, please, God, please let cooler heads prevail. Take a couple steps back. This doesn't make any sense. Why in the world? What would the motivation be for Russia to fire missiles into Poland and kill people, knowing what that's going to do with NATO? And knowing that, is going to be there's going to be a greater push to put the military on their board. Why would they do that? Something's not wrong. And I knew it right away. But what? Conventional wisdom was Russia did it. Actually, Polish government's pissed right now. They're pissed at Zelensky. They are. They think he this was done on purpose to get more guns and weapons and stuff. And I guess we're about ready to send another $30 billion worth of stuff to the Ukraine. It's got to stop, people. It has to stop. You got to give Putin and Russia an off ramp to some degree. Come up with some negotiated settlement. This is the closest we've been to. I mean, no, I think people are playing this down like a real issue since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Can you name another? Can you name another incident? I can't. The last real big international incident militarily I can recall, I'm trying to think of, I'm between two major world powers, was us when China. Remember when the Chinese plane clipped our AWACS plane? This was in 2000, if I'm not mistaken. Remember, they were all, they were on some island there in China. They had to take apart the plane before it came down, and then they were held hostage. I remember that entire thing. That was a big deal. But this was much worse. Do you understand how scary this is? Zelensky's, he's got a political philosophy. I read Machiavelli's The Prince. He just cares. And everybody's going to understand this. He just cares about the Ukraine, and he's trying to use this to get more guns, to get more weapons, to get NATO more involved in his cause. People, it's something to think about. And I've talked about this for a while here on the program. You got to find some ending to this. Okay. I mean, it's one thing we can walk away from this week as, these NATO countries, G20, whatever it may be. Crazy things happen. Yeah. You think about, the spark that started World War I and the type of death and destruction that occurred during that war. Guy gets shot. Crown Prince gets shot in Sarajevo. Again, if you're a student of history, you can understand why this was frightening. Quickly on this story, too. Story in the Wall Street Journal op-ed. I'm talking about democracy in Illinois, and democracy dies in Illinois. Democrats held supermajorities in both legislative chambers before the election, and they rejiggered the voting there and gerrymandered and did a myriad of different things to make it difficult on Republicans. Yeah, okay. Again, that's Illinois. That's at some point in time, people, you're gonna have to move. You're gonna have to move. I am. I mean, again, I live on Long Island. Long Island conservative, all red. State of New York, not so much. Tax policy's awful here in this state. I see all the waste, all the fraud. I want to move to a more well-run state, and I'm going to do that. You're going to have to choose better. It is what it is. I don't like this, what's going on, then leave. Leave. Companies are. Citadel up and left. McDonald's moving jobs out of Chicago. And you're going to see more and more of it. Why wouldn't you? What's the point? Why would you stay? Why would you stay? I was on a story out of San Francisco. They're now doing universal basic income for transgenders. And they're also helping them with their transition needs. It's taxpayer dollars. This is San Francisco City where it's wrecked. It's disgusting. Homeless people everywhere. Drug abuse. People. It's awful. But that's okay. They have the money to do this. Again, I don't live there. I'm pointing this out. I said, if you don't like it, move. Move. And again, you take a look at the demographics. It's one of the things that I heard. I said, so many people are leaving certain states that they're actually making them bluer. It is what it is. Okay. It's a brilliance of our U.S. Constitution, something that we need to be thankful for, is the 10th Amendment, states' rights. And again, yesterday I was at Fox, and I brought this up. I was talking about it. You're talking about, DeSantis going and running, and he's the guy. And I'm like, well, you get termed out in Florida. You get termed out in Florida. Well, I just let him serve his terms because he's doing such a great job there. And states are where you can push back. Abbott's going to have to even push back even more against this, the horde of illegals that are coming in. If I was him, I'd be Amtrak, putting on Amtrak, buses, fill up trains, send them north. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. We'll see you.